It's important to understand the concept of offering a lowball to test the waters and to determine if we're able to transfer that shopper into a buyer. Now, that may be easy, but how do you justify? How do you justify a $30 to $35 lowball option when the actual option is 70 to 80? Now, let me elaborate a little bit more. Customers are going to come in. They're going to tell you that they're shopping around. They're going to tell you that they're not ready. They're going to tell you that they just want a quote. So our process is to offer 30 to 35 as a lowball option, but to sell the idea that the $30 to $35 is realistic, that all they need to pay today is $30 to $35 to test the waters to determine if they have the $30 to $35 and if they're willing to make a decision. So that's step number one. It's offering the lowball, making the quote realistic, and testing the waters to see if they have the money and if they would be willing to make a decision. That's step number one. Step number two, if they decide to make a decision and they're happy with the 30 to 35 and they could do it, and now they're willing to make a decision, step number two is to justify. How do we go from 30 to 35 to 70 to 75? Number one, you have to be confident and knowledgeable enough to emphasize that the $30 to $35 was a quote. It was something basic. There's a few strategies that we could use to justify. Number one, we could always emphasize on paid in full. So we could always emphasize on the fact that the $30 to $35 may be a paid in full option. Can they do $3 to $4 or $4 to $500, whatever calculation we're going to give them? Can they do that today? Can they make a paid in full option today? The majority of the customers are going to tell you no. I'd rather go month to month. So therefore, you're going to justify the fact that the 30 to 35 is only an option if they make the full payment for the whole year. See, you're going to set them up to tell you, no, I'm not able to. So therefore, we have no other option but to go month to month. But it's going to cost you a little bit more. Another way to justify the lowball to the actual approximate is emphasizing on the fact that when we offer a quote, the system, the company, is not really processing all the information. They're not checking the VIN number. Even though we have it, you're going to have to demonstrate the difference between the FSC and bridging over to the website, and you're going to tell them that a quote is based on the FSC. We don't bridge over. So therefore, the insurance company do not confirm the VIN, do not confirm the driving record, and also they do not confirm the type of driver. So you're going to educate them on the fact that it's just something basic. Now, the following way of justifying the 30 to 35 to the 70 to 75 is to really use the justifying factors. For instance, if they actually don't have a license and they have a matricula, you're going to emphasize on the fact that 30 to 35 is offered, something realistic, but they're going to need to provide an actual license within the next 10 days. And you're going to ask them, is that something possible? They're going to say no. So therefore, let's go with an option. You're going to educate them. Let's go with an option that's going to guarantee coverage, that's never going to require a California license, and that is going to accept the license, the ID that you have today, the matricula. So you're going to justify. 30 to 35 is a low ball. It's to test the waters. You have to be confident enough to understand that if customers agree to the 30 to 35, we've accomplished our goal. We transfer the shopper into a buyer. Now we can start all over and really qualify, really determine what situation they have, and to set up a presentation that's going to convince them. So keep in mind, don't worry about what's going to happen after. Focus on making sure you can convince them of making a decision with the lowball option, and then we'll figure things out. You're going to follow the procedure. You're going to follow the steps. You're going to qualify. You're going to set up your presentation. You're going to add a lot of value. You're going to make the quote or the new option realistic, And most importantly, you're going to make it tangible. So it's important for you to understand that it's okay if they agree. That's the whole purpose of it.